to the Gigalife. Your passions, your stories, your life, simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Gigalife in just one tap. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's D1? Simple, smart ako.
Mantakin nyo mga kapatid, ha? Isang linggo na pala, ha? Isang linggo na pala pong natapos ang pinakamakasaysayan at pinakamatagumpay na Olimpiada sa kasaysayan po ng Pilipinas. Mantakin nyo yun, ha? At tapos na yung Olympic euphoria, o di ba ba? Pero dito po sa Power and Play, hindi nagtatapos dahil tuloy-tuloy po ang aksyon at ligaya ng sports. At syempre, lahat yan, hindi lang naman po Olympics Marami pa pong iba ay aming ihahatid dito po sa inyong paboritong kasama tuwing Sabado ng umaga. Ito po ang Power and Play. Magandang umaga mga kapatid. Nagbabalik po ang Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay, at ng Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum powered by Smart. Magandang umaga sa lahat po ng mga suki natin, yung mga Radyo 5 Taxi Squad, lahat po ng mga security guard, na mga nakikinig sa kanilang mga pwesto. Mayong buntag din sa ating po mga kapatid sa Davao City, sa Cebu City, na ngayon ay mga naka-lockdown dahil sa ang dami-dami na namang kaso kahapon, 13,000 ang ating mga kaso on Friday the 13th. Naku, tayo parang pinaglalaroan ng tadhana. Kaya po, mag-ingat po tayo Mayong aga sa lahat po ng ating mga kaibigan sa Negros, sa Dumaguete, at sa Bacolod. And of course, naimbag na bigat sa ating po mga suki sa 1PH on Signal TV, and of course, all over the world. Lalong-lalo na po dyan sa mga kasama nating nakikinig sa atin sa Ilocos Sur, sa San Esteban, ang aking bayan po na aking ama, at sa Lawag City, sa Ilocos Norte. Naku, speaking of Ilocos Norte, kahapon nagtapos sa Ilocos Norte ang napakaganda na PBL Open Conference Finals kung saan nagwagi ang Cherry Tigo laban sa Creamline. Naku, napakaganda po nung seryeng yun. Umabot ng 3 laro at 5 set ang dalawa sa 3 larong yun. At kahapon nga, kinoronahan ng unang nilang kampyonato ang Cherry Tigo. Gusto kong i-congratulate ang ating mga kaibigan, si partner Romel City at ang buong Cherry Tigo na nanalo po kahapon. Unang nilang championship. Congratulations, partner. I really hope na tuloy-tuloy na ang tagumpay ng Cherry Tigo. Marami po tayong pag-uusapan na naman ngayong araw na to dahil sabi nga natin, hindi po Olimpiada. Nagtatapos ang palakasan. Tuloy-tuloy po ang mga laro. Yun nga, katulad ng PBL. At malapit na ang laro ni Senador Manny Pacquiao, ang laban. Bukas naman, lalaban na si John Real Casimiro laban kay Guillermo Rigondo. At ating pong pag-uusapan yan mamaya. Pero syempre, sa pagsisimula lagi ng Power and Play, himayin natin muna ang mga headlines at ang mga kwento sa Sports Weekly Highlights. Lunes, ligtas na nakabalik ng bansa ang Philippine boxing team matapos ang tagumpay na kampanya sa Tokyo Olympics. Bukod sa Heroes Welcome, may sumalubong din sa kanila na pangako mula sa Office of the President. Yan ay ang 2 milyong pisong insentibo para kina Carlo Paalam at Nesty Petesio. At 1 milyon naman para kay Yumir Marshall. Lahat din ng medalist ay gagawaran ng Order of Lapu-Lapu. Congratulations again sa ating mga Olympians. Martes, emosyonal na inanunsyo ni Lionel Messi ang pag-alis niya sa FC Barcelona. Hindi na raw kasi kayang bayaran ng celebrated club ang isa sa mga tinuturing na football's greatest of all time. Sa loob ng 21 taon sa club, may record na 682 goals ang Argentinian legend. Bukod pa dyan, sa 35 trophies na napanalunan niya kasama ang Barca. Itutuloy ngayon ni Messi ang kanyang karera sa France matapos pumirma ng 2-year deal sa Paris Saint-Germain o yung PSG. Noong Martes din, good news naman ang dumating kay 1996 Olympic silver medalist Onyok Velasco. Ibibigay na kasi ng gobyerno ang incentives na aabot sa halagang 500,000 pesos. Matatandang hindi lahat ng lahat ng pledge rather sa dating boksingero ay naibigay matapos ang tagumpay niya sa Atlanta Games. Makakasama natin mamaya si Onyok mismo para pag-usapan yan at iba pang mga kwentong boxing at Olympics. Miyerkules naman, biglang umatras si Errol Spence Jr. sa laban nila ni Manny Pacquiao. Ngayong buwan, na-diagnose kasi si Errol Spence na may retinal tear sa kaliwang mata ng kakailanganan ng operahan. Dahil dito, pinalitan siya ni Yordenis Ugas na kasalukuyang may hawak ng WBA Super Welterweight belt. Bisita rin natin mamaya si MP Promotions President Sean Gibbons para magbigay ng update laban sa ating pambansang kamao. At kahapon lang, kagaya ng pinikwento natin, kinumpleto ng Cherry Tigo ang epic come-from-behind win kontra Creamline para maagaw ang PVL Open Conference title. Down 2 sets ang crossovers pero hindi nila yan ininda at tinambakan pa ang Cool Smashers sa title winning set 23-25, 20-25, 25-21, 25-23 at 15-8. Nagpaulan ng 26 points si Jaja Santiago sa likod ng 22 attacks at 4 kills. Samantalang si Dindin Santiago Manabat naman ay nagkaroon ng 32 points sa larong yan. Si Jaja ang hinirang na MVP. Ito ang unang titulo ng franchise sa loob ng 5 taon. Naku, grabe, no? Ang ganda po ng laban na yon. And of course, dininay nila yung Creamline Cool Smashers ng ikatlong sunod na kampyonato. Siyempre, yung pa rin ang liamado ang Creamline pero talagang nagpursige lamang. Again, it came down to great defense para sa Cherry Tigo at napakaganda ng kanilang formation on the net para talagang time and time again na i-deny yung mga smashers ng Creamline. Congratulations again kay paring Romel Sitin. Okay, at this point mga kapatid, lagi nating gusto itong proportion na to, yung pupulsuhan natin. Ngayong araw pong itong maganda ang ating pupulsuhan. Nailabas ko na to sa Twitter kahapon. Doon po sa mga gustong mag-post ay maglagay na. Ito po ang ating katanungan. Pagkatapos ng napakadaming medalyang nakuha natin, makasaysayan nga sa Olimpiada mula sa weightlifting, kay Heidelin yung kanyang unang gintong medalya para sa ating bansa, at yung Philippine boxing team sa Olympics. Ito po ang ating pupulsuhan. Dapat na ba o dapat na nga bang isama sa UAAP, NCAA at mga collegiate leagues ang weightlifting at boxing? Ulitin ko po yan. Dapat na nga bang isama ang weightlifting at boxing sa mga collegiate leagues na lalaruin ng ating mga kabataan? Alam mo, before, sinubukan po namin ito sa aking isang organisasyon, yung pong NCAA South, na amin pong inintroduce ang boxing. Alam nyo, marami rin naman naging interesado. So yan po ang ating pinupulsuhan ngayon. Kung gusto nyo pong makipagtalakayan sa amin, mag-text lamang sa aming hotline 0908-208-0629. Ulitin ko po yan, 0908-208-0629. O di kaya ay mag-comment sa aming Facebook page ng Power and Play ng 1PH at ng Radyo 5. Mamaya po, kung tayo po'y pipilitin natin magkaroon ng panahon para basahin ang inyong mga opinion at ang inyong pong mga pulso. Alright, at this point, as we begin our day dito po sa Power and Play, ang ating paboritong segment din. Ito po yung Fast Take, kung saan opinion po ng ating mga kaibigan sa hanap buhay, mga kapatid sa hanap buhay, ang mga sports journals ang mahalaga. At ngayong pong araw na to, mapalad muli tayong makakasama ang mga balik Fast Takers. Walang iba kung hindi si Denison Dalupang ng Philippine Daily Inquirer at si Ian Suyo ng Daily Tribune. Magandang umaga, Denison at saka Ian.
Good morning, Com. Can you hear me?
Yes, malinaw.
Maraming salamat, Kong, for inviting us to your show.
Okay, maraming salamat sa inyong pagdalo. Alam ko, napakaaga, pero medyo, tapos na tayo sa Olympic fever. Kaya, back to normal, back to the games that we enjoy. And kahapon nga, nagtapos na ang PVL. But before I go to our fast take issues, let me go to you, Denison. Alam mo, before we leave the Olympics, this has been one of the most successful, if not the most successful Olympics so far. Do you believe ito na yung golden era ng Philippine sports na ating pinakaabangan?
Definitely one of the many, Com, Nolly. If you are able to catch my editor's reports, dispatches from Tokyo, yung mga kanyang mga piyesa na sinulat mula sa Tokyo, nagkaroon kasi ng parang kumpiyansa yung mga atleta natin simulan nakita nila na posible dahil kay Miss Heidelin. So, I think from here on out, mula sa puntong ito, papunta sa future natin, marami na, alam mo yun, yung mindsetting kumbaga na sinasabi nila na kung kaya ng isa, hindi kaya ng marami, di ba? So,
Tama.
Ayun po.
Tama yun, tama. Kung kaya nga ng isa, at sabi nga ni Heidelin, nothing is impossible. Manalig lamang at talaga namang pwede tayong lumaban sa international arena. Alright, Ian, dahil dyan, yun nga, pinupulsuhan namin ngayong araw na ito, no? Sa tingin mo ba, dapat na introduce ang weightlifting, ang boxing? Alam mo, sabi ko nga in one of my tweets, sabi ko, I don't mind being called the country of weightlifters and boxers if it will mean na marami tayong medalya sa Olympiada. But again, it will begin in the grassroots. Do you think dapat itong i-introduce na sa mga collegiate leagues?
Definitely, Coach. Definitely, Kong. No, agree ako dyan kasi sobrang laking bagay for our local athletes, so mga grassroots athletes natin to have this kind of opportunity, no, na hindi sila limitado lamang sa palarong pambansa at sa mga PSC organized events, no. Dapat meron din talagang ino-offer na tournament or competition for them pagdating nila sa collegiate level. And malaking bagay yon para ma-boost din, no, yung exposure nila going to the amateur ranks and heading to the Olympic ranks.
All right. Well, I'm all for anything that will support the grassroots, and I really think na this could be a good introductory level ng mga sports na yan na alam naman natin ay medal rich pagdating sa mga international competitions at kayang makapagsabayan ng Pilipino. Alright, ito na, ang fast take, alam nyo na to, alam nyo na yung rules, ang opinion nyo ang mahalaga, and of course, walang tama, walang mali, bato-bato sa langit, tamaan, huwag magagalit. Simulan natin sa ating unang issue. Sa isang linggo, lalaban na ang ating pambansang kamao, si Senador Manny Pacquiao, at the age of 42. At siya pa rin ay naghahabol, and it could be a record of sorts kung siya ay mananalo bilang isa sa pinakamatanda na mananalo ng isang welterweight title. Ngayon, ang tanong, Denison and Ian, dapat na bang magretiro si Senador Manny after this fight, o dapat ba niyang habulin ang titulo, halimbawa ni Errol Spence Jr. para i-unify ang weight division? I'll begin with you, Denison. You have 1 minute. Go!
Kung as I've mentioned sa mga previous episodes nitong Power and Play, hindi po ako masyadong, kumbaga, fan ng pag-pursue ni Senator Manny ng more fights into his career. Para sa ating mga listeners right now, hindi naman po ako kontra sa, kumbaga, sa pagiging atleta ni Senator Manny, but then again, kaya nga po siya tinatawag na Senator Manny because meron na po siya mga bagong, kumbaga, duties na kailangan i-fulfill. So that includes being a senator to his constituents. So having all these fights, engaging in these matches would just take away, alam mo yun, precious time na dapat ibinibigay niya sa kanyang mga constituents. Masyado niya lang, kumbaga, na fulfill niya na lahat ng mga kailangan niyang gawin in the sport, and na nilagay niya na yung sarili niya sa pwesto on top of the grade, so nothing more to do.
Well, you're right with that, Denison. Talaga nothing to prove si Senator Manny at this point. But again, minsan sabi nga sa akin ni Kaluyulo, pag minsan mo daw natikman, talagang hindi mo mapitawan. Kaya tingnan natin, no? Same issue, Ian. Dapat na bang magretiro after this fight, win or lose si Senator Manny, o dapat pa ba niyang habulin and become a fighting senator or a fighting president when if manalo siya sa kanyang susunod na laban si Errol Spence? You have 1 minute, Ian. Go!
I think bilang isang atleta, no, hindi ko pinagbabawalan or hindi natin inaayawan yung will ni Manny Pacquiao to fight more and to look for other matches. Pero yun nga, kakasabi na rin ni Denison na he's already a senator, and hindi basta-basta, no, yung pag-handle ng dalawang malalaking karera, lalo magkaibang karera yan, hindi sila related, ang sports at ang politika. And kung mahirap nga i-juggle yun bilang isa siyang senator at bilang isang boksingero, how much more if he will pursue other or bigger commitments, di ba? So alam naman natin yung posibleng kahantungan or posibleng puntahan ng karera ni Senator Manny Pacquiao. So kung maghahanap siya ng mas malaking laro or mas malaking laban, dapat isipin niya na rin yung edad niya, no, na kailangan niya magdoble effort kung lalaban pa siya kay Spence for another bout, for a unification bout. And kung magiging presidente man siya or kung itutuloy niya ang kampanya niya bilang senator, nakikita natin na top of Vicente siya, and yung presence niya sa Senate medyo kinukulang. So I think dapat yung pag-isipan niya.
Well, I totally agree with the two of you at matatapang na takes yan. And ako, I will come out with my own. Ako, I do not think that Senator Manny should fight again. I think this should be his final fight, win or lose. I think he has done more than enough. Marami pang mga laban na pwede siyang pasukan, lalong-lalo na sa pagtulong sa ating mga kababayan. Hindi naman niya kailangan lumaban muli sa ring. I think he has done more than enough for boxing, at ang kanyang legacy ay sementado na. Sa akin nga, ito, I'll bring it out today. I think Senator Manny should run as one of the presidents of an NSA, run for the Philippine Olympic Committee, and hopefully make it to the International Olympic Committee. Alam mo, he has the name, he has the stature, and why not? He can still bring a lot of vision and leadership kung siya ay papasok sa larangan na yan. Alright, let's go to our second fast take of the morning. Alam natin na nagtapos kahapon ang PVL Open Conference kung saan nagwagi ang Cherry Tigo against Creamline. Napakaganda nung serye ngayon. And of course, ang isa sa mga haligi ng Cherry Tigo was Jaja Santiago. Siya ang hinirang bilang MVP ng PVL. So ang aking tanong ngayon for our second fast take of the morning, si Jaja Santiago na kaya ang undisputed best female volleyball player sa bansa ngayon? I'll begin with you, Ian. You have 1 minute. Go!
Definitely, Jaja is the best sa ngayon, no? Kasi bihira, sobrang rare ng mga accolades na nakukuha niya. For example, she's the first Filipino volleyball player na nagka-medal sa isang liga abroad with Ego Medics sa Japan. So talagang rare feat yun for a volleyball player. And also, yan nga, nakuha niya na yung MVP, and she steered her team towards the championship sa PVL. And napakalaking bagay yun, considering na yung PVL, mas marami ng teams at nag-merge na yung PSL at PVL for this season. So, it proved her courage at kung gaano talaga siya kagaling at yung talento niya na yun. And makikita pa natin yan lalo kapag nag-start na yung ABC conference na sasalihan ng national team natin. So marami pa, 25 years old pa lang si Jaja, and marami pa siyang pwedeng makamit sa kanyang volleyball career. And right now, she's doing really impressive.
Well, kung ang indication niyan ay ang kanyang paglalaro sa PVL, talaga namang she has done so much. Grabe ang kanyang depensa, and of course, yung kanyang opensa kahapon was unstoppable. Same issue, Denison. Si Jaja Santiago na ba ang pinakamagaling na volleyball player ngayon sa ating bansa. 1 minute, go!
Noli and sa listeners ng Power and Play, just a disclaimer, kumbaga, ang lohika na ginagamit ko dito is yung lohika na ginagamit ko din. Kumbaga, pag may mga ganitong diskusyon sa PBA, ako po ay isang PBA reporter, so medyo mas dun ako attuned, kumbaga. Pero sa base sa mga nabasa ko at mga nakita ko, pag sinabing undisputed, right now, hands down, si Jaja yung pinakamagaling. So, basing dun sa mga napanalunan niya, sa tama nga siya, yung accolades niya na nakuha at the age of 25, and right now, dahil dun sa merger nga po ng mga teams na naglaro sa PBL, at this very moment, si Jaja talaga. So, that could change siguro in the next coming months. Should there be another conference should there be another tournament na mag-spotlight sa mga other talents. And of course, kung mabigyan ng opportunity mga ibang volleyball players. Pero right now, parang with an MVP, with a championship, with a medal overseas, and a stint in Japan, it's Jaja.
Well, I agree. I think Jaja is probably the best player today, right now. Pero hindi natin masasabi na maraming na ika nga hindi pwede magbago yan. There's so many, of course, people, ladies that have, of course, taken over that throne in the past at maghahangad pa sa mga susunod na araw. And but one thing is true. Napakasaya ng women's volleyball today, and I think it really augurs well for Philippine sports at sa mga fans nating lahat. All right. Ang ating final issue, fast take of the morning. Alam naman natin na yung NBA, nung sinorten nila ang season, ang dami nagreklamo, including LeBron James, na naging very vocal about injuries. Naging injury-plagued ang season ng NBA noong taong 2020 to 2021. And itong katatapos lamang na PBL Open Conference, nagkaroon din ng malubhang injury si Maddie Madayag dahil sa sinasabi nilang compressed schedule. And alam din natin yan na ang PBA marami rin na na-injure dahil sa sunod-sunod na mga laro. So ang tanong, ano ang pwedeng improvement na gawin sa ganitong schedule issue, lalo't limitado ang ating mga liga sa mga tinatawag na bubble format? I'll begin with you, Denison. 1 minute, go!
For me, definitely very intensive planning. Kumbaga, pag-prepara. Yung planning ng PBA, as we all know, they were given like just a month to organize everything, give the teams a couple of weeks para makapag-scrimmages, and that didn't help. Nandun kami, nandun si Ian, nandun din ako, to see in the flesh how the players were easily, alam mo yun, as much as sobrang digil din nila maglaro, kita rin naman kung paano sila natamaan ng mga, may tawag po sila dun mga soft tissue injuries, so yung mga borderline na sa gitna ng hindi sa mga gitna ng serious and not so serious injuries. So, sobrang dami nun. So, I guess, foresight planning, in that way, nagkakaroon ng nabibigyan yung liga ng adequate window to plan for a very, very wide schedule without compressing.
Exactly. Naku, talagang yung mga injuries na ganyan, pag kami nadali mo at hindi mainit ang katawan, talagang madali pumasok yung mga ganyang injuries. Lalong-lalo na kung napaka-intense ng aksyon at ng laban. Iyan, same issue. Sa dami ng injuries in the compressed, shortened, or compacted seasons of sports today, including the PVL, the PBA, and the NBA, ano ang dapat na mga improvement para siguro maibsan itong mga ganitong klaseng injuries, lalo na sa isang bubble format. 1 minute, yan. Go!
Well, for me, ang premise ko dyan is everyone right now is under an abnormal situation. No? At hindi takas dyan yung mga atleta natin. And dahil nga, ang pinaka-safe na paraan para matuloy ang mga liga is bubble setup. Ang nagiging downside ng bubble setup na yun ay yung compacted nga at abbreviated na schedule ng training ng mga atleta natin. At dahil nga dyan, napupunta rin sa abnormal na sitwasyon. Yung hindi naman sa abnormal, pero alam mo yun, naninibago yung mga atleta sa ganong klase ng setup. For the longest time, sanay sila na isa, dalawang laro sa isang linggo. Then ngayon, bigla mo silang isasabak sa 3 to 4 times na laro sa isang linggo. Talagang naninibago yung katawan nila at hindi malayo na talagang sunod-sunod na ma-injure sila. And dahil nga doon, feeling ko dapat aabot tayo dun sa matagal na pagpaplano, kagaya ng sinabi ni Denison. And yun yung magiging key eh. Matagal na pagpaplano and talagang maayos na scheduling for our athletes.
All right. Well, I totally agree with you. Planning will be the key, and that's something that, well, sadly, ito akin naman to, parang kulang sa nangyayari sa PBA. Hindi masyadong proactive, very reactive ang nangyayari sa PBA. I think yung shortened schedule, yung compressed schedule, okay sa akin yan. For as long as teams and players are given more time to prepare. Hindi pwede yung 2 linggo, 1 linggo, tapos palalaruin mo na kagad ng game. I think that's where the problem is. Kasi hindi pa nasa kondisyon yung mga bata, yung mga player, sasabak na sa intense action. Kasi at the end of the day, trabaho yan eh. And you've got to work. Except that, syempre, kailangan mong ihanda ang iyong katawan. And so again, planning and of course, vision, very important para sa mga ligang ito. Before I let you go, Denison, ano bang plano? Ano bang balita sa PBA? Kailan ba ang simula? Meron na bang balita?
When I last talked to Kong Willie last Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, started for the Friday edition of the paper. Sabi niya po, mag-assessment sila by Monday. Last time I checked in with Deputy Commissioner Eric Castro, who is the representative of the PBA on the ground, who's talking to Governor Dennis Pineda sa Pampanga. Wala pa rin po kumbaga definitive. So, they gave, to be fair naman po, with the PBA, they gave themselves a deadline, which is Monday. There, magkakadal uli sila, and siguro chart the coming days na po kung magre-reconsider po ba sila for another location. Kasi when I asked Commissioner din po, he admitted na they haven't explored the idea outside of Pampanga or any other place farther from Pampanga. So, I'm assuming, ito lang po feeling ko, baka mag-extreme bubble na naman ulit, just like last year. But then again, yun nga po, on one hand, it's very expensive. On another hand, very torturous siya mentally and socially and emotionally for a lot of delegates, not only the players, coaches, trainers, and us, yung reporters din po. Pero if that's what it takes to, again, alam niyo po yun, get the games going. Excuse me, get the games going, why not?
Para naman sa fans yan. But again, napakahirap ng ating panahon. I do not envy the PBA and hopefully they will find a solution somehow. Siguro dalhin na nila sa Palawan para talagang malinaw, malinis na. Meron namang court dun eh, kaya tsaka maraming hotel. Alright, maraming salamat Denison and Ian for sharing with us this morning your thoughts. Maraming salamat. Sana huwag kayong magsawa sa Power and Play.
Thank you, Kong.
Thank you, Kong. Ingat kayo.
Mga kaibigan, ang ating mga kaibigan from the Philippine Daily Inquirer, si Denison Dalupan and of course si Ian Soyu ng Daily Tribune. Unbelievable ang mga takes ng mga batang talagang they know their stuff. Alright, siya nga pala, gusto ko pong makiramay lamang sa pamilya at of course kay Junmar Fajardo. Again, nakikiramay po ang Power and Play sa pagpanaw ng kanyang mahal na ina. Nabalitaan po natin yan kahapon at tayo po ay talagang nakikiramay. Alam niyo po, may experience tayo kay Junmar. Una pong pumunta si Junmar sa Maynila para maglaro sa San Miguel Beer sa ABL. Tayo po sumalubong. Natatandaan ko po yan, last flight mula sa Cebu. Kumain po kami sa isang restaurant at pagpasok po ni Junmar, batang-bata pa siya yan, 2011. Abay, nakaakbay sa kanyang ina na parang isang batang naghahanap ng kalinga. Kaya po alam natin kung gaano kamahal ni Junmar ang kanyang ina, kaya naman napalaki ng napakahusay na tao ito pong si Junmar Fajardo. Again, nakikiramay po ako at ang aking pamilya sa pamilya po ni Junmar Fajardo. At this point, mga kapatid, pasok muna natin bago tayo mag-break ang ating This Week in Sports History. August 14, 2010 o 11 years ago, nako, alam ko ito dahil nakasama ako dito binuksan ang inaugural edition ng Youth Olympics. Sa summer edition, nagsimula ang Youth Olympics na unang ginanap sa Singapore mula August 14 hanggang 26 ng taong 2010. 3,600 athletes, edad 14 hanggang 18 ang lumahok dito. 204 nations naman ang nag-participate, kabilang ang Pilipinas na nagpadala ng 9 na atleta. Bukod sa pinakaunang Youth Games, makasaysayan din ang event para sa Singapore dahil ito ang unang International Olympic Committee sanctioned event na ginanap sa Sovereign Island. The inaugural Summer Youth Olympic Games opens this week in sports history. Kasama tayo dyan. Alam mo, nung 2010, ang ating team, yung 3x3 team, yan po ang unang-unang 3x3 championship ng Olympiada. And that was the precursor. Yun po ang nagbunga sa 3x3 na ngayon ay nilalaro na sa Olympiada. Nandun si Bobby Ray Parks. Tanda-tanda natin yan. Napakaganda nung larong yun. Alright, bago po tayo mag-break, paalala lang po from Smart. Puso Pilipinas is a movement to celebrate the Filipino athlete powered by Smart. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Get a chance to win exclusive Puso Pilipinas merch by sharing their Facebook page and your social media accounts with hashtag Puso Pilipinas. The Gigalife App is the latest mobile app from Smart that lets you discover and enjoy your passions with the different Giga promos. It can be downloaded and used by Smart Postpaid, Smart Prepaid, Broke Prepaid, and TNT subscribers via the Apple or Google Play Store. What can the Gigalife app do for me? Check your balance, monitor your current subscription, top up using debit credit card, subscribe to the latest Giga promos, monitor your data consumption, auto-detect your mobile number when you are connected to Smart Network one-tap subscription to the most popular offer, Giga Video 99. Giga, life ng Smart and Power and Play is powered by Smart. Marami po salamat sa Smart Communications. Alright, at this point mga kaibigan, we will take a quick break. Sa aming pong pagbabalik, makakasama natin si Sean Gibbons, ang presidente ng Manny Pacquiao Promotions. Ito po ang Power and Play, hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement at ng Cherry Loom. Ngayon, okay lang.
Welcome to the Gigalife. Your passions, your stories, your life, simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Gigalife in just one tap. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's the one? Simple, smart, ako. Welcome to the Gigalife. Your passions, your stories, your life, simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Gigalife in just one tap. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's D1? Simple, smart ako.
Nagbabalik po muli ang Power and Play. Nakakuha lang tayo ng isang comment dito sa ating kaibigan si Adrian Flores, ang editor ng Perfect Drive PH. Sabi niya, tungkol doon sa injury, sabi niya, partner, comment on injury, yung tungkol kay Madi Madayag. I think dapat ang player ang mag-adjust. Kailangang fit talaga, maybe upgrade ang training program of each team. Maraming salamat, Deng, sa iyong komentaryo. Thank you for sa pagtutok. Siya nga pala, doon po sa mga nakatutok sa golf, si Yuka Saso sa kasalukuyan ay lumalaban po sa Ladies Scottish Open. Doon po sa Scotland. Ako yung home of golf, Scotland. Ito po ay preparatory sa major next week, yung British Open. At si Yuka Saso po ay nasa -5 or 5 under, 4 shots behind Aria Jutanagorn na ngayon ay lumalamang po doon. At third round mamaya, kaya pagdasal po natin ang ating kababayang si Yuka Saso. Talking about injuries, na pag-usapan po natin kanina ang pagpapalit ng kalaban ni Senador Manny Pacquiao dahil nga po sa naging injury ni Errol Spence Jr. sa kanyang mata. And of course, ang naipalit po ay ang WBA welterweight champion na si Yordenis Ugas ng Cuba. So, kamustahin po natin yung laban na yan. At right now, makakasama po natin, we have with us on the show no other than the president of MP Promotions, Mr. Sean Gibbons, live from California, who is on his way, I think, to the fight of Guillermo Rigondo and John Real Casimiro. Mukhang nabitin tayo, mukhang nagkakaroon ng problema. Mr. Gibbons, si Sean ay papunta po sa laban niya kay John Real Casimiro, isa ring boksingero na ika nga ay hinahawakan ng at least pinopromote din po ng ni Sean Gibbons, at siya po ay ating kakapanayamin dahil po dito sa malapit ng laban ni Senador Manny Pacquiao. Alam niyo po, itong makakalaban ni Senator Manny Pacquiao, hindi po ito pipitsugin. Bagamat may konting edad ng konti lamang kay Errol Spence, ito po ay bigatin pa rin mula sa Cuba. Alright, I think we have Sean Gibbons on the show right now. Sean?
Viva Noli! Woo!
Woo!
Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
You're looking good. What are those? What's that shirt?
That is Viva Casimiro and the senator and myself for a little promotion.
Oh my goodness! Wow, that puts this interview right, in its proper perspective. But before I go to the senator, before I go to Casimiro, let me ask you first about your reaction to the great bronze medal of our kababayan Yumir Marshall, who is of course also that you're also helping. What is your assessment of his performance in the Tokyo Olympics, Sean?
You know, I'm very impressed and I'm very proud of Yumir. Fighting at that weight in that division, 165 pounds, is not easy. He looked tremendous his first 2 fights. He came up against a guy that was basically 61-0 over the last 5 years. He was winning the fight going into the 3rd round. He just couldn't make a few adjustments, got a little tired. But at the end of the day, we signed up for a gold, came away with the bronze, and we got a lot of high hopes for him. And I just so happy that he was able to achieve a medal, made the Philippines proud, made his family proud, made himself proud, and Senator and myself are very proud of what he accomplished.
Well, you can't ask for anything more. A bronze medal is a bronze medal that feels like gold to all of us back here in the Philippines. What's next for you, Mir? Sean, are there any plans to bring him back to the States and maybe come up with a pro fight?
Yeah, right now, Ymir has some business to do in the Philippines. He's finishing his quarantine. Then they're going to have a meeting with the president. So we're hoping by the beginning of September to have him over here. And absolutely, he's going to be in the ring somewhere having another pro fight by the end of the year. That's a gimme, for sure.
That's exciting because we know how much that has helped him, and of course we're hoping that he'll be back in Paris in 3 years' time. All right, let's go to the fight of the Senator Manny Pacquiao against Yordenis Ugas. First of all, Sean, just give us a little background. What happened really to Errol Spence Jr.? Was there a concern that there won't be a replacement for him as well?
Now, you know what happened, and I'm guilty of this a little bit myself. In boxing, we have medicals that have to be done for every state. And all the states are different: Texas, California, Nevada, and they took it for granted that they would get the medicals done all the way when he arrived in Nevada. So, in Texas, when he fought in December against Danny Garcia, they require an optometrist test, not a full-blown ophthalmologist. So he passed that optometrist test. He did the fight against Danny, looked okay, won the fight. So then we make this fight with Errol Spence and the Senator, and they waited. They waited till they arrived in Vegas, about 11, 12 days out, to do the medicals. They do ophthalmologist test in Las Vegas. They do the full dilation. They look into the eyes. And unfortunately, when they looked into the eyes, they found a tear and a puncture in his retina, and he was disqualified to fight. He had to go into surgery right away. And the Senator's actually very happy in a way that, they found this out, because if he went into the fight and the Senator dropped some big bombs on him, this guy could have lost an eye. He could have seriously been injured. So it's bittersweet in a way, but we're very happy that they discovered the injury and that Earl's going to be okay. And if everything goes right for the Senator, we can always revisit stuff towards the end of the year.
Right. Well, many, of course, are saying that picking up Yordenis Ugas is really serendipitous. It is, very coincidental also that his opponent had to drop off because of an injury as an undercard in the fight. But some people are also saying that this is a downgrade from Errol Spence Jr. Is there a feeling of disappointment in the camp of Senator Manny with the upcoming fight with Ugas?
Well,
and could he have refused this fight, Sean?
Yeah, first of all, it was really bizarre. Within 2 hours, I got the call that Errol Spence was out with an eye injury. Then I'm sitting in the parking lot. Whoops. Hey, Noli.
Yeah, go ahead, Sean.
So then I'm sitting in the parking lot at the Wild Card Gym, and I get the phone call that Yordenis Ugas' opponent just got injured and got a cut eye. So it's like, wow, you can't make this up. Now, you got to remember, Ugas was on the card already, so it's not like this is a last-minute late replacement. He was on the card just in case somebody got COVID and something happened. He was there to fill in. So he's been preparing to fight. He's in tremendous shape. And, of course, it's a downgrade because, Errol Spence was undefeated. He's pound for pound the best welterweight. But don't sleep on Yordenis Ugas. Mm-hmm. And here's the biggest thing. The Senator got his belt basically ripped off by the WBA, and they gave it to Ugas. So in poetic justice, now the Senator's going back to fight Ugas to get his belt back. And the crazy thing is the Senator now will break his record of being 40 years old. Now he'll be 43 years old, 8 months. The oldest welterweight to win a title, and it's his belt. So don't let anybody kid you, too. The Senator's got a little smirk in his eye like, oh, now, okay, we're going to set this the right way.
Still a lot at stake, in other words, in this fight. And, of course, Senator Manny will come full circle. We know what happened back in 2001 when he was a replacement as well for Enrique Sanchez against Lelo Ledwaba in that fight where, eventually he knocked out Ledwaba, and, of course, the rest is history now. Sean, give us a little backgrounder about Ugas. What kind of a fighter is this guy? And do you think that he is going to be less troublesome, or is this new fighter in 2 weeks' time going to be hungrier for the title of Manny Pacquiao?
Well, for people that don't know Ugas was a very accomplished amateur. Came through the brilliant Cuban, amateur system. He won a bronze medal in Beijing in 2008 Olympics. He turned pro with Top Rank. He did well, but then he had a loss early on, and Top Rank cut him loose. Then he kind of had a up and down little period, but now he's been on a tremendous run of about 10 of his last 11 fights. Lost a very disputed decision for the WBC title against Sean Porter. The guy is no joke. He's coming to get, he's got a chip on his shoulder too. He knows how to fight. He's strong. He's physical. But I think, it benefits the Senator going back to a right-handed fighter, whereas Ugas is going to have some difficulty going to a lefty. But again, remember, the Senator's 42 years old in 8 months.
Oh, yeah.
What he's doing with anybody, fighting anybody at this top level, is unheard of in this game, and setting records like he always has. So I'm not, I'm nervous, man. Last minute, and I don't even last minute, but I don't want to use the word last minute replacement, because he wasn't a last minute. He was on the card, but he is a replacement. And the good thing with the Senator has a big belief in God. He took a moment when we were in the room, when I was explaining it to him. He said, let's have a moment here. Let's pray on this. And basically, he just prayed that, God, we don't know why these things happen. We understand. We trust you. I have all my faith. So the Senator moved forward. I mean, what are you going to do? You can't sit around and complain and moan and whatever. Senator's a fighter. Things happen.
All right.
It took him a few minutes, and he changed, and he's ready to go.
Sean, just very quickly, are the conditions, the terms, the purse, all the same for this fight for Senator Manny?
No, unfortunately, let's say going to the barber. He took a little haircut, but that's understandable. You go from fighting the best welterweight in the business to a mega fight to a big fight. You went from basically mega to a great event, but it's not a mega event. So of course, when that happens, you end up taking a little haircut on things. But he's still very happy, and it will give him an opportunity to fight once more right away.
Well, that is the big announcement right there. It looks like the Senator is still looking to fight after this. Let me ask you about Senator Manny. How is his condition, Sean? At 42 years old, as you said, are you amazed with what he's doing, getting ready for this big fight?
Yeah, I'm amazed, because every day I get to see this. Every day it's something new. The guy's an encyclopedia of boxing. More fighters should watch him, cover him, look at him, and understand how he prepares. He's actually preparing harder for this fight than he did for the Keith Thurman fight at 40. I mean, he broke out the bamboo stick. He's hitting himself like this kung fu stuff. He's doing the stomach. I'm in awe of the guy, because the guy knows his business. He knows his body. He knows this sport, and he knows what he has to do. So I'm so blessed to have been around for this run that he's had over the last 3-4 years. And the good thing is, and you hear it first on your show, Noli, is it's not over. This is just
wow.
I mean, we take it. You always got to. You don't look past the fight, but it's definitely not over. This fight ends. This fight is over. He wins. He's looking to get right back in that ring October, November before he has to move on to the next phase of his career.
Wow, that is something that he hasn't done in a while. Have 2 fights in a year, and if that will happen, that should be a mega one. And am I correct in saying that it could be Errol Spence Jr. again?
What, Dan?
It could be Errol Spence Jr. again for the next fight?
Again, it's so hard to say that, because Errol Spence is walking around with eye surgery. Who knows what the time is to get it ready, but that is one of many options, but it's definitely one that's on the table if Earl heals quick enough and can possibly come back to the ring by, November.
I'm not going to ask you about the odds, because I think you already know, and in your heart, and everyone in the Philippines knows that Senator Manny is favored to win this fight. So, what is the next plan for Senator? When does he leave for Vegas? And how do you see the fight going? Will this go the distance, or do you see a knockout coming here?
I see. First of all, the Senator leaves on the 16th of August, as he always does, and that is a special day in my life. That's when Elvis Presley passed away, the king, may he rest in peace, R.I.P. Elvis, August 16th, 1977. But the senator will leave that Monday. He'll go to the gym. He'll do a workout, do a couple rounds of sparring, and then he'll head to Vegas as he always does for fight week. And the way the fight itself plays out, I think Ugas will be difficult early. I think eventually the senator's speed and power, as we move along, I'm looking somewhere to fight to end before 9 rounds.
All right. Well, I know you are there in LA still because you are going to be watching tomorrow the fight, or I think it's tonight, no? Tomorrow. Tomorrow, the fight of John Real Casimero and Guillermo Rigondo. How is our boy Casimero, Sean?
You know what's funny? We just created this new rivalry. It's Cuba versus Philippines. We got John Real Casimero versus Guillermo Rigondo. We got Senator Manny Pacquiao fighting Udenis Ugas. So hopefully it's going to be 2-0 for the Philippines over Cuba. But I literally just left Casimero 1 hour ago. We did the weigh-in. He came in at a very strong 118. Rigondeaux looked good. They both look tremendous. I think it's a very hard and tricky fight because regardless of the age of Rigondeaux, it's kind of like the senator. Age is just a number. And, but it's the type of fight that Casimero is a very intelligent fighter. And I think, again, like Manny over Ugas, I think John Real takes a little while to figure out. But his power and his conditioning, Noy Neri, Memo Heredia, and the other guy, Jorge Capetillo, have got him in tremendous shape. So I think he's going to make a real fun showing. And like he's the only Filipino with that swag and that brash and that, he's got a big rapper, this guy Easy Mill bringing him out. He's got all kind of Filipino fans. He's got Apple D coming, some basketball. So Casimero's going to have a lot of support there, and this is really a moment that he's traveled the world. He's won 5 world titles all over the place, been around, but never in America has he had this type of showcase. And tomorrow night it's going to be coming out party for Casimero.
Well, again, are you expecting a big knockout for Casimero tomorrow? I mean, Rigondeaux is a veteran, but he's slowed down with age. And do you see this, going down, not going to the judges' cards anymore?
I do too. Bet the under. I think it's going to be explosive. I think, like you just said, you hit it on the head. The legs aren't what they used to be, so the legs don't move that good. And Casimero steps to him, and they start throwing down. Casimero's looking very fresh. So now another fight that I really believe the senator and Casimero both should have tremendous showings and both look to get right back in the ring. Bring on Nonito Donaire, bring on the monster and Noe. Casimero's hitting his stride. He's peaking. The senator's going to roll out with a couple nice ones and then write the rest of his book as we go along.
Well, it's again also the golden era of boxing for the Philippines. You've got Casimero, you've got Jervin Angkas. Mark Magsayo is fighting in the undercard, I believe, of Senator Manny. Is that right?
That is correct. Mark will be the second fight of the pay-per-view show, and Mark is the one I got the highest hopes for because I know Casimero. I know what he's capable of, what he's going to do. I know what the senator's capable of, and I know what he's going to do. Mark Magsayo has a chance to really make the biggest statement. And to the Filipino fans that haven't seen him in 2 or 3 years, Mark Magsayo is the fight on the card that could really steal the show Saturday night.
Well, it's exciting. The next 2 weeks will be exciting for Philippine boxing, and we're looking forward to it. Of course, your big announcement today that Senator Manny will be fighting again after this is truly, invigorating. Homer Saison, one of our friends from Chicago, gave me a text. He said that assuming Spence's eye heals, what are his chances of fighting Pacquiao again and the timeline considering the elections? I guess you said it, but will the elections matter at all, Sean?
No, I believe the senator is able to do one more fight this year if he chooses to run for president. I believe you declare in October and you don't start campaigning till January, so he still has the opportunity in between those months to get in one more fight.
All right. Well, Sean, we wish you all the best, and we certainly thank you for giving us all of these news about our boxers, and we're looking forward to the fight of Casimero, and of course, Manny Pacquiao. Thank you so much, Sean, and you stay safe, huh?
Hey, Noli, real quick, I want to send out a big shout out to Big Boss Cement, who's always supported Jerwin and Kahas. He supported all Filipino fighters, and he's really a guy that's helping out and doing great things. So without him, we couldn't do some of the things we're doing. So we really appreciate his support and your support every time. I was there a few years ago. You had me in the station, and ever since, you've been a great, great supporter for all the guys too. So we really appreciate it, Noli.
Thanks so much, Sean. Appreciate
Thank you.
it. All right, mabuhay. Mabuhay ang Pilipino. Thank you so much. Yan po mga kaibigan, si Sean Gibbons, ang presidente ng MP Promotions. And what an exciting next 2 weeks for Philippine boxing. Si John Real Casimero fighting Guillermo Rigondeaux bukas. At sa isang linggo po, Manny Pacquiao laban kay Yordenis Ugas. Naku, sana ugas kamay. Si Yordenis, ha? Dahil kailangan laban kung laban lang. At sigurado si Manny Pacquiao ay handang-handa na. Talking about handang-handa na, we are ready for our next guest on the show. And of course, it's been a while since we got some news about basketball. All of this talk about the Olympics and of course boxing and weightlifting. Well, basketball remains still the most popular sport in the Philippines. And of course, the big program is our Gilas national team. And we're very fortunate to have with us this morning no other than the head coach of Gilas Pilipinas and the program director of the Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas, Coach Tab Baldwin. Coach Tab, good morning.
Noli, how are you? Good to see you again.
Hey, it's good to see you. It's been a while, and you came back from Jordan, and I really wanted to get you, but everything was happening so fast in the Olympics, and I'm sure you didn't mind just watching all our athletes perform so well for the Philippines.
Not at all. It was really a great Olympics and a great performance for the Philippines. I think historic when you look at the results, and it probably speaks volumes about the work going on behind the scenes, not just that the athletes are doing, but the work of the administrators and the trainers and the coaches and, everything that's going into helping these athletes prepare and funding these athletes. And isn't it great to see the support that they're getting for their success and for their involvement in the Olympics? And, in the sport of basketball, it's something that we really aspire to.
Well, we're beginning to see really the science behind sports. And of course, Gilas Pilipinas is a terrific example of this, with everyone contributing, from coaches to psychologists to trainers, and of course to all of the leaders of the sport. And obviously, when you went to Jordan, that was supposed to be a tune-up for the FIBA Asia Cup, which unfortunately has been postponed for next year. Let me ask you, Coach Tab, was there, because of the postponement, when you went to Jordan, was there a change in the mindset of the boys? Do you think that the postponement kind of, put it in a different perspective? Do you think?
I don't think so. I didn't feel that or sense that. And I think the fact that we have these young kids, they're excited about everything that we do, other than, another drudgery day of training or week of training. We're getting tired of that, as we all do. But when it comes to competition, they're very excited about every opportunity, and they look forward to it. So I don't think that there was any drop-off, about how these guys felt about playing in the King Abdullah, as opposed to, not having that as a warm-up for FIBA Asia.
Was the postponement good for Gilas, Coach Tab? What do you think?
Yes and no. I mean, more time to prepare for us is not a bad thing. We need practice more than we need games, but we need games as well, and we need to keep these players motivated. What it really does is it puts a, extremely heavy schedule into 2022 now.
Exactly.
With,
yeah.
The windows, the Asia Cup, the Asian Games, and the Southeast Asian Games. So we have a very full schedule, which is exciting. But it also means that we've got a lot of work to do to get prepared for that. But it's a great way to head into 2023, which is the World Cup year. We're going to get a lot of information, a lot of preparation, and it's exactly what we need. So we're looking forward to it.
Well, we know that 2022 will be heavy with the Asian Games, the Southeast Asian Games, the FIBA Asia Cup, and maybe other tournaments, international obligations of the Philippines. And obviously, all of these are part of the process of growth, which you in fact mentioned as part of your objective when you joined the King Abdullah Cup in Jordan. Now, Coach Tab, assessing our performance there, did you achieve this growth objective that you set out to do?
I think so. I think that, we saw a different type of basketball. We saw the North African teams, which are rugged, big, strong, rugged teams, Tunisia and Egypt, particularly Egypt. We saw different styles of play. We saw a very polished Jordanian team with an excellent guard lineup that really gave us problems. So, no question that the learnings were there. The performances of our players were something that, that's the whole point of going and doing these things, is to learn more about these young players and how they step up at each level against each style of basketball. And so the important thing is we got more knowledge about our team and about our roster. The results were okay. It wasn't really the primary goal. But to win 3 games, to beat Tunisia was very good. It was an excellent win, in fact. To beat Saudi Arabia and to beat Jordan B, we expected to do that. So nothing special about that. Losing to Jordan twice, a little bit disappointing, but, they were the ultimate champions of the tournament, very strong. They played at home, and that's a good lesson, too, to learn how to play, against opposing referees and on the road. And, of course, we lost to Egypt in the opening game. I think Egypt was the strongest team there. So all in all, I was relaxed about our results, but, more interested in the performances of our players and then as the team collectively.
Well, interesting that you say that, because you brought a few players that were not with you when you played the windows, including 30 Ravenna and Ray Suerte. Can you give us a bit of an assessment on these 2 players? How do you think that these players adjusted quickly to the system, given that, they were out for a while, and of course, 30 has been playing in Japan?
Well, Noli, this is a really important point, I think, for our fans to understand. It wasn't just Ray and 30. It was also Matt Nieto, who had been out for 6 weeks with a broken hand, and Dave Ildefonso, who had been out a shorter period of time with the bone bruise in his foot. So those 4 guys only really had 4.5 days of preparation in the very short bubble we had before we left. And it was evident, especially for Matt, especially for 30, who, hadn't had much preparation at all with the team. They were really out of sync. And I just think it highlights the fact of what I've been saying is that if we want to bring new players in, they need to have a considerable amount of time with the team. Dave and Ray weren't away as long as Matt and 30 were, and they probably integrated themselves a little bit better. But by the end of the tournament, we were seeing improvements from Matt and 30. But at the beginning of the tournament, they didn't look good, and they knew that. And, that's just part of the process. So time together is critical. And anybody that thinks we can just bring star players in at the last minute and expect that to be an addition to the team, they're wrong. It will be a subtraction to the team. I don't care how good those players are. Mm-hmm. They may be a star for the team, but they won't actually help the team perform better as a team.
Right. Well, we know that this is the program. We know that the pool is there precisely to involve as many players who will be, as you said before in our talks, familiar and who will incorporate themselves into the system. But, many fans are asking, at the end of the day, as we look at our bigger goals, which is really the 2023 World Cup, when does the revolving door policy end, Coach Tab?
It won't end until probably late 2022, maybe even early 2023. these players are young, and that means they're developing. So we don't know exactly how much development there will be between now and say the first quarter of 2023. So we have players involved right now that may not look like a featured player or a guy that helps us that much, but a year down the track, a year and a half down the track, we may see an entirely different player, and that's the whole purpose of having a program.
Well, the rest of the year looks like it's going to be slow for Gilas. But what are the next plans, Coach Tab, given all of these, quarantine protocols that we have to go through? What are the next plans for Gilas Pilipinas, including any developments on the PBA side?
Well, you mentioned quarantine. I'm still in prison here at the Conrad Hotel.
Really?
Yeah, I stayed in Jordan for a few days to visit some old friends, having coached there back 10 years ago. So I came back a little bit later than the players. So I'm still in prison in the quarantine.
Oh my goodness.
And it's still taking its toll. It's tough. I tell you, the isolation it's no joke for people that have to go through this, and many people
used to going out. We're used to going out like you.
Absolutely. And I'm a guy that likes to get out every morning on the road and get the serotonin in my system and get the exercise. So it's really tough, but I know there's a lot of people that have it much tougher. But to answer your question, we're moving towards, when I get out of this, a meeting with management where we will try to lay out the plan for the rest of 2021 and into 2022. And yes, we need to get back on the court. We can't let the gains that we've made, get rusty. So I suspect the players will get a couple of more weeks off, and then we'll see at that time, what are the protocols? Will we be able to get into a gym and go home at night and train that way like is normal, or will we have to go back into a bubble? So we don't exactly know, but we can't take that much time off because this is a program, and a program needs functionality, and this is a development program, and you don't develop sitting at home playing your PS4. That just doesn't happen. So, we will be talking about this. As far as the PBA, I think it's just an ongoing conversation. And I don't think the particulars around that discussion have changed. We would certainly love the involvement of players that we would like to have in our environment, but it does come with the conditions of a significant amount of training time. And I guess the crazy world that we live in, that may become possible, because of COVID situations going even into 2022, it may not. So we can't really project at this point.
What is the intention, Coach Tab, for next year? There will just be one team going through all of these tournaments, from the SEA Games to the Asian Games to the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers, or are you going to break this pool up into several teams?
Noli, honestly, that discussion hasn't taken place, so there hasn't been a final decision, and I don't think I'm the final arbiter on that, although I hope I have input. But I mean, from my perspective, it makes sense to use the entire schedule to continue to develop the team that we expect to put into the 2023 World Cup. And, that will be my hope. But if somebody, of course, makes a solid argument for, a different approach, let's say that the bosses and everybody, they say they're very determined to win a gold at the Asian Games and they want to use more veteran players. If that's the goal, then, we will adjust and we will take into consideration all of that and make our decisions based on that. Because if we take a young team, maybe a gold is not a realistic objective, but maybe we can put together a stronger roster that can do that. So these are discussions that will certainly take place.
Well, we haven't won the Asian Games in a long time, so that may truly become an interesting factor. All right, Coach Tab, before I let you go, FIBA came out with the latest rankings, and the Philippines remains at number 31. There were certain countries that picked up, countries like, for instance, China, Korea, and Japan. Your reaction, Coach Tab, to our current rankings and how we are doing in the Asian front?
Noli, those rankings are like all-star games to me. They don't mean anything because they don't reflect the current strength of your current team. The rankings are based on a multiple year return of results. I think it's something like up to 8 years, and only certain competitions are included. So it doesn't really give a fair picture of where teams are at in the world right now. But Philippines over, the last 5 to 8 years, and not having seen any improvements or any increases, and knowing that our recent results have been pretty good, that just highlights the fact that taking in summary, over that time period, we haven't really advanced against the world, whereas other teams like Japan, and we all know Japan has been on an upward curve, and now you're seeing that reflected, because that's not just 1 year that's happened. That's over a several year span. So, you see that with Japan, and good for them. But it's also happening in other Asian countries. So, I'm more focused on what we are right now, and I think that we're on par right now with the Korea. Taiwan, I think we probably moved past them, but I think Japan has probably moved past us in the short term. So you're looking at teams like China, Japan, maybe a couple of the West Asian teams. Jordan is certainly strong, but their tenure is going to be coming, I think, to an end. I think they have a new generation of players, but not enough. They've only got a few good players, but some very good ones. Iran, of course, is still very strong. So, we're bumping up against the top tier of Asia, but we're not there yet, and that's one of our goals.
Well, we certainly hope that those are numbers that really, as you said, these are not reflective of what kind of program we have and what kind of players we have. And like you said, the rankings are based on previous games that were played and not necessarily what's going on today. Coach Tab, I've run out of time, but it's always a pleasure to have you. It's been a while since we got some basketball news going, especially from the Gilas front, and we will continue to monitor our boys. Hopefully not in a bubble, but if necessary in a bubble, we'll still certainly hope that you can put together a fighting crew come next year. Thank you so much, and you stay safe in your own quarantine, Coach Tab.
Thanks, Nolly. Good to see you again, and all the best to the fans. God bless to everybody, and take care and stay safe.
Thank you so much. God bless you. All right, mga kaibigan, yan po si Coach Tab Baldwin, ang head coach ng Gilas Pilipinas and of course program director ng Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas. Ang dami niyang nabanggit, mga plano, of course, mga the little things that he wants to happen for Philippine basketball. And it's always good to have somebody doing that planning. I really enjoy talking with Coach Tab. He's got very progressive ideas. I just hope that he's given enough room to really make those ideas come true. All right, before we continue, mga kapatid, gusto muna natin magpasalamat sa lahat po ng mga tagapagtaguyod ng Power and Play. Una sa lahat, of course, ang Big Boss Cement, Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay. Nandito na ang Big Boss Cement. Di basta matitibag, approved sa kalikasan at sobrang abot kaya. Big Boss Cement is the first eco-friendly cement company in the Philippines. First and only cement that is produced with low to 0% of high carbon footprint materials. Big Boss Cement. Big Boss sa tatag, Big Boss sa tibay. Maraming po salamat kay Engineer Gilbert Cruz, and get well soon, partner, kay Engineer Gilbert Cruz, ang presidente at chief company innovator ng Big Boss Cement. Maraming din po salamat, of course, sa Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Sa ganitong pabago-bago ang panahon, mga kababayan, sobrang init tapos biglang uulan, kailangan natin ng matibay at protektadong bubong. dapat ang bubong ay yerong may aluminum. Kapag may aluminum, tsak na pang matagalan. At isa lang ang alam kong dekalidad na yerong may aluminum, yan ang cherry loom. Tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero. Cherry loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Thank you so much kay partner Elmer Ngo ng Cherry Loom. Marami din salamat of course sa Elms Resto Bar Group with branches at Poblacion, Makati, yung Elms Grill and Bar, and of course Elms Tapas and Winery located in Calle Bistro, Commonwealth, Quezon City. Pwede niyo po tawagan ang mga numerong 0977-157-0499, 0966-854-4048, or visit their FB and IG pages at Elms Resto Bar Group for reservations and inquiries. Napakasarap ng kanilang mga pagkain dyan. And of course, they are open for delivery ngayong pong panahon ng ECQ. Thank you so much kay Ma'am Malu Yambao. Maraming salamat of course sa Joyride, ang bago ninyong kasundo. Dahil ayaw naming nahihirapan ka, book Joyride MC Taxi now and experience hassle-free commute. Kapag delivery naman, Joyride ang gamitin, bagsak presyo pero hindi ang serbisyo. Joyride is now on its lowest rates ever. And of course, ang aming pong bagong offering, ang JR Mall at ang JR Pay para po sa cashless transactions ninyo sa aming Joyride app. So download now the latest super app ng Joyride. Thank you also, of course, to Makalaj Professional, your School of Makeup Artistry, the official makeup of Power and Play. Thank you also to Skin, your face and body anti-aging center, with branches at Wilson Street sa San Juan City and Alabang Town Center sa Muntinlupa City. For inquiries, please call 0917-890-1640 or 0977-809-8886. Thank you so much kay Dr. G. Sarmiento at kay Dr. Richie Sarmiento. Marami din po salamat of course sa Smart. Ang Power and Play po is powered by Smart. And of course, marami po salamat sa Presiderm. Mga kaibigan, sa panahon ngayon at sa gitna ng pandemya, higit natin kailangan ang mga taong ating maasahan, mga lugar na makakapagbigay sa atin ng kaligtasan, mga bagay na ating kakapitan sa anumang oras, yung sigurado, yung pwede nating tawaging most trusted. Parang Presiderm, your most trusted skincare. Thank you also, of course, to Jario Milenio, ang media partner po ng Power and Play. And of course, to Umami Bowl. Marami pong salamat sa pagkain dulot ng Umami Bowl. For inquiries, just call or just look at their IG pages sa Umami Bowl. All right, mga kaibigan, when we come back from this break, ang ating po mga kasama, ang 1996 silver medalist ng Atlanta Olympics. Walang iba kundi ang ating kaibigang si Mansueto Onyok Velasco. Dito po sa Power and Play, hatid sa inyo ng Big Boss Cement at ng Cherry Loom. Amigo.
Welcome to the Gigalife. Your passions, your stories, your life, simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Gigalife in just one tap. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's T1? Simple, smart, ako. to the Gigalife. Your passions, your stories, your life, simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Gigalife in just one tap. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's T1? Simple, smart ako.
Magandang umaga po muli mga kapatid sa inyo lahat. Nasa Power and Play pa rin po kayo. At ngayon po, well, bago po to, gusto ko lang kamustahin lahat ng ating mga tagapakinig. Si Carla Viola, si Jasmine Pacunyo, magandang umaga po ha. Alvin Fernando, o si Mark Mohe, magandang umaga. Thank you for joining us sa Power and Play. O nga pala, yung SPC Medical Center na laging nakatutok sa Power and Play dyan po sa San Pablo City. Alam niyo po, bago nagkamedalya si Heidelin Diaz at noong silver sa Rio Olympics, 20 taon tayong tigang sa medalya. Ang huli pong nakamedalya at nagbigay ng karangalan sa atin ay isang boksingero na lumaban sa light flyweight division. 1996 sa Atlanta Olympics kung saan nagwagi si Mansueto Onyok Velasco. At ngayon po, tayo'y mapalad na makakasama natin mismo ang ating Olympic medalist na si Onyok Velasco. Magandang umaga, Onyok.
Good morning po.
Good morning. Naku, hindi ka tumatanda, Onyok ha.
Hindi naman.
Ha? Pogi-pogi,
Hindi naman.
batang-bata ka pa. Hindi ka tumatanda talaga. Ha? Nakakatuwa. Onyok, alam mo, unang-una, nakita naman natin ang naging performance ng ating Olympic boxing team ngayong taon na to. Alam natin na matagal bago nagkaroon tayo muli ng medalya sa boxing. Anong reaction mo sa naging performance ng ating boxing team, Onyok?
Talaga masaya ako dahil bumangon ulit yung boxing natin kasi halos ilang taon din na hindi tayo nakatikim ng medal sa boxing. Halos 25 years din eh.
Oo.
25 years kasi 96 pa ako. Tapos ngayon lang ulit nakamedal. So parang ito na yata ang hudyat na sa sunod na Olympic makagold na tayo.
Bakit sa tingin mo matagal bago tayo nagka-boxing medal ulit, Onyok? Ano sa tingin mong naging rason doon?
Hindi ko alam kasi yung mga boxer natin talagang siguro lang din. Yung mga nasusunod na nung sumunod sa amin siguro baka kasi ang boxing kasi hindi parang hindi siya timing dun sa sa Olympics na yun. Parang alam mo yung boxing kasi hindi lang din magaling ka, kailangan may shortihan ka rin. May shorty ka, may paniwala ka sa Panginoon. So parang ganoon, may kasama lahat yun. So ito ngayon, parang natugma yata sa kanila. So, pero medyo bitin pa rin kasi hindi natin pa nakuha yung ginto eh. Kasi natin,
talagang hindi pa rin natin makuha yung gintong medalyang yan. Pero bago natin pag-usapan yan, Onyok, sino yung, sa tingin mo, sa tatlong nagmedalya sa atin, sino yung pinaka-impressive para sa'yo?
Siguro sa akin si Nesty siguro. Si Nesty, kasi malaki talaga yung chance niya sana doon na mag-gold kung hindi lang Japan yung nakalaban niya. Siguro baka nanalo sa doon. Tapos siyempre yung nanghinayang din ako kay yung kay Marshall. Kasi kung nalusutan niya yun, ay tingin ko although marami naman siya malakas talaga na kalaban, sa tingin ko baka nakaya niya kasi parang napagod siya doon sa last round.
Oo. Well, alam mo, nabanggit mo yung nakalaban ni Nesty na hapon. Alam naman natin lumaban sa kanyang bakuran, ika nga. Parang may konting halong yung pananalita mo, Onyok. Pero balikan natin yung sayo. back in 1996, natalo ka sa finals kay Daniel Petrov na marami nagsabi dapat nanalo ka. Noong panahon na yon, iba pa ang scoring, no? Nakikita yung scoring noong panahon na yon.
Opo.
Sa bawat suntok, may makikita kang score na lumalabas. At yung score mo noong panahon na yon ay 6-19. Kahit
Opo.
ang marami nagsasabi na dapat mas mataas ang in-score mo. Natanggap mo na ba yon, Onyok?
Yung score?
Yung score at yung pagkatalong yun?
Unang-una, siyempre sa decision kasi wala tayong magawa. Alam mo naman tayo mga boxing heroes sa mga Pilipino pagka kung ano yung decision. Hello po.
Go ahead, Onyok.
Yan po, yan po ang decision kasi parang tinatanggap natin.
Sige lang. Naririnig ka namin. In other words, Onyok,
Kasi kung ano yung decision, tanggapin na lang natin kasi yun ang decision nila. Pero sa ngayon pa man, siyempre malungkot tayo dahil nung nireview namin yung laban, nireview namin, ang kalungkot lang doon kasi pag ako tumatama, umi-score doon sa kalaban, kaya kitang-kita mo talaga na talagang luto talaga yung laban.
sa tingin mo ba mas patas na ngayon ang judging? Itong naging
Wala
Olympiada ito. Sa tingin mo ba mas naging patas na?
Nawala siya.
Nawawala ba? Tingnan natin.
Hindi ko po naririnig po.
Hindi mo ba kami naririnig?
Wala po.
Andala ka. Tingnan natin. Santi, ayusin natin ang communication.
Wala po ko naririnig.
Andala ka. Sandali lang. Santi, ayusin natin ang communications ni paring Onyok. Naku talaga marami pa tayong pagkikwentuhan, lalong-lalo na itong mga dumating na insentibo. Tingnan natin kung maibabalik natin ang audio at ang yung pang naririnig tayo, yung communications natin kay Onyok Velasco. Alam niyo po, nung panahon na yon, tama si Onyok Napanood po natin yan, 1996. Bawat suntok ni Onyok na tatama, napupunta doon sa Bulgarian kay Petrov. Diba? Kasi nung panahon nung yun, nakikita niyo yung score Pag yung 30 judges, 3 yata ba yan? Sana dito si paring Ed Pixon no? 3 ba yun o 5? Basta pag suntok, yung po mga judges may pinipindot yun Pag nagka-tugma-tugma, nagkakaroon ng puntos yung scoreboard. Nung panahon na yun, bawat suntok ni Onyok na tumatama, sa tingin natin lahat, malinaw naman, napupunta doon sa kalaban, tuloy naging score 19-6 kahit na bugbog yung kalaban. Kaya tama po si Onyok doon talagang nakakapagtaka. Pero ibang-iba na ngayon ang ating judging, hindi na po nangyayari yan at sa dulo na lang ng isang round, lumalabas yung pong score. Tingnan natin andyan na ba si Onyok? Balikan natin wala pa. Mukhang nawala yung signal. Tingnan natin Mamaya po mga kapatid, abangan nyo po, meron tayo naging panayam din sa ama ni EJ Obiena, yung na-cancel po last week. Atin pong na-interview mismo ang ama ni EJ Obiena, ang ating Olympian pole vaulter, at nagbigay ng kanyang assessment sa naging performance ng kanyang anak. Pati na rin yung mga, sa tingin niya ay mga pinagdaanan ni EJ bago siya lumaban sa Tokyo Olympics. Nakakatuwa din dahil ito po si Emerson Obiena, yung ama ni EJ, ay dating pole vaulter. Dati rin pong atleta, lumaban para sa ating bansa. Nakailang medalya din yan sa Southeast Asian Games. Kaya siya po ang naging unang mentor o coach ni EJ Obiena. Alright, balikan natin si Onyok. Tingnan natin Onyok?
Naputol po.
Yan. Okay, narinig mo na ako.
Okay na po.
Okay. Natatanong ko lang, sa tingin mo ba mas patas na ngayon ang judging nung nakita mo sa Tokyo Olympics? Mas maganda na ba ngayon?
Sa ngayon maganda yung judge nila ngayon, yung pagka-judge nila. Maganda na kasi parang makita mo yung yung scoring nila. Medyo okay naman.
Alright. Alam mo, isang malaking balita na lumabas itong linggong ito, yung ipinangako ng Malacanang na pagbibigay o muling pagbigay sa iyo ng insentibo dahil doon sa pagkapanalo mo nung sa Atlanta. Balikan ko lang, Onyo, kasi alam naman natin, hindi lahat ng tao ay nakakaalam kung ano talaga ang nangyari sa iyo. Merong mga ipinangako sa iyong monetary at saka non-monetary nung after nanalo ka sa Atlanta, panahong 1996. Pero ang balita, ang natanggap mo lang ay kokonti. Wag na nating tanungin kung ano yung natanggap mo dahil mukhang alam na naman yan na nagaling lalo nagaling kay Mayor Mel Lopez, ang nasirang Mayor Mel Lopez, of course yung nabigay ng Philippine Sports Commission. Pero ano yung mga pinangako sa yung hindi na ibigay? Onyo.
Yung pinangako sa akin ng Congress nun, na 2.5, yun ang hindi ko nakuha. Tapos yung sa Philippine Navy na scholar na 2 anak ko, yun hindi ko rin nakuha. Tapos yung sa bahay ko ngayon na tinirahan, nawala, nasa bahay po ngayon, pero hindi ko pa nakuha po yung titulo. Tsaka yung...
Sino ba nagbigay sa inong bahay at lupa? Onyo.
Yung mangyayari rin po ng subdivision, si Oscar Vilago po.
Ayun. Tapos, meron ka daw pinangako pa yung parang 10,000 allowance mula sa isang negosyante?
Siya din po, si Oscar Vilago din po, yung nagbigay ng bahay sa akin. Ng mga lifetime pension po na 10,000. Binigyan po ako ng 1 taon po, tapos sa the same time, wala na po.
Alright. Ano sa tingin mo ang bakit hindi mo natanggap to? Bakit ano nangyari dito, Onyok? Ano ang assessment mo? Halimbawa yung 2.5 million na pledge sa iyo ng Kongreso. Yan ay batay sa isang batas yung Sports Benefits and Incentives Act noong taon ng Pangulong Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo, RA 9604. Bakit ba hindi kaya naibigay ito sa iyo? Ano ang explanation?
Hindi ko po alam kasi po nagpatulong rin po kay Senador Bongo po. Na hinalungkat niya na po lahat po yung pinangako sa akin. Ang kinalabasan po, wala daw po yung sa batas yung pinangako. Parang pinangako lang daw po yun, parang walang kasulatan. So parang nangyari po.
Masakit ba yun para sa isang taong nag-alay ng kanyang buhay, ng kanyang panahon, ng kanyang lakas, ng kanyang pawis at luha, at biglang papangakuan at biglang hindi makukuha? Lalo na ikaw ay galing sa pagkapanalo.
Kuwan natin siguro siyempre parang dismaya ka lang siguro dahil pinangakuan ka tapos wala naman. So, yung ko lang din naman, yung concern ko lang din sana, yung sa mga pangako, sana tuparin nila para yung mga future athlete pa natin na magpursige din na makita nila ba na pag nanalo ka pala, marami ka palang mga incentives na makukuha. Wala mo yung galing sa baba, magpupursige sila kasi nga nakikita nila na maganda yung kuwan pala ng mga athlete. Kasi yung iba, athlete ka, wala namang kang dyan, mag-aaral ka na lang, magtrabaho ka na lang. So parang ganoon, kasi ako, hindi ako talaga nag-aral, nag-concentrate talaga ako sa boxing. Kasi mas gusto ko talaga yung boxing na yan. So parang nagpursige talaga ako. Kaya sa awa ng Diyos, nagbunga naman. So yun ang lang, sana yung pinapangako.
Yan bang hindi mo pagtanggap ng mga incentives na ipinangako, pinledge sa iyo ng pamahalaan, ng ibang tao? Meron bang factor yan kaya hindi ka na nagpatuloy sa paghahabol ng medalya sa Olimpiada, yung Olympic gold?
Sa akin, isang din yun, yung isang dismaya din, siyempre. Tapos the same time, siyempre naghirap ka, tapos yung mga bata, hindi mo nakakasama. Pero mo, nung lumaban ako ng Olympics, may 2 anak na ako. Pagbalik ko, hindi na ako kaya ng anak ko. Alam mo yung baby pa lang sa pagbalik mo, tumatakbo na. So, alam mo yung tapos, siyempre, sinubukan naman namin na magbalik ulit. Sinabihan ako ng president namin na si Manny Lopez na isang Olympic ka pa, Nyok. So, tapos, nakapahinga lang siguro ako ng mga 1 taon. After nabalik ako, siguro parang tumaba siguro ako. Medyo hirap na ako. Kasi, ang boxing, ang pinakakalaban mo dyan, yung una-una yung timbang.
Kondisyon.
Yung training kaya, yung training kaya, yung timbang. Kasi, yun ang mahirap sa akin eh. Yun ang hindi ko siguro doon ako siguro nahirapan.
Oh. Well, ngayon mukhang inaayos na ng pamahalaan sa pamamagitan ni Senator Bongo ang insentibo kahit hindi siguro kompleto pero at least may matatanggap ka daw muli. Anong reaction mo, Onyok, tungkol dito sa balitang ito?
Talagang hindi naman sa talagang no, pero siyempre parang binigyan din pa rin tayo nilang importansya ni Senador Bongo, ni Presidente Duterte na parang kinilala pa rin nila yung pagka-silver ko kahit 25 years na. So parang siguro natuwa lang din sila siguro dun sa sa silver ko rin siyempre. Masaya po ako.
Well, Onyok, alam natin na napakabigat ng nakikita naman natin yan eh. Maganda yung tagumpay, makinang, ang daming taong tagahanga pagkatapos mong manalo. Andun lahat ng atensyon ng media, andun lahat ng atensyon ng mga opisyal ng gobyerno, na kung sino-sino mga tao. Yun ba malaking responsibilidad na nakuha mo nung ikaw ay nanalo? At mabigat ba yun, yung naging responsibilidad na yun?
Ano naman, medyo separate pa kasi yun yung inaanong time na yun, yung inahanap natin talaga yung first gold sa Olympics.
Oo.
No? Tapos siyempre ako naman, hindi naman kinakarga sa akin ng coach ko na yung kuya ko na coach ko si Boy Velasco. Sabi niya, wag mong isipin yung Olympics medal nasa Olympics ang laro mo. So sabi niya, isipin mo lang yung mga laro mo galing ng National Open, laban mo, taga Cebu, Davao, Bacolod, parang gano'n. Na para yung pressure mawala lang doon sa laban.
Correct.
Kasi ang napakabigat kasi pagka nasama mo yung pressure na kailangan ko manalo dito, kailangan ko mag-gold. So parang mawawala kasi yung diskarte mo doon sa laro. So yun yung sasabi sa akin lagi ng kuya ko. Tapos di same time yung boxer natin bago pumunta din ng Atlanta, ng Olympics Village na sa Tokyo. Pinagsabihan ko rin kinausap ko rin na gano'n din kung ano yung sinabi ni Kuya Boy sa akin. Parang in-apply ko lang din sa kanila na
nice.
Huwag nyo na isipin na gano'n, na Olympic yan. Isipin nyo lang parang mga National Open. Para yung pressure sa kanila mawala din. Parang kasi malaking tulong din na-experience ko kasi yun. Yun po.
Well, ngayon alam naman natin naranasan mo yung tagumpay ng pagiging medalist. At of course, after that, yung sabi mo nga, yung hirap ng pagbabalik, no? Yung para muling bumangon, para lumaban ulit, para sa isang medalya. Dahil yung pinagdaanan mo, napakahirap na. Anong advice mo dito sa ating mga medalists? Sila Yumir, si Nesty, si Carlo, kahit si Irish, kahit si Heidelin, no? Anong advice mo na ngayon na nakatanggap na sila ng ganitong klaseng tagumpay, ng ganitong klaseng parangal, at of course, yung mga incentives, para ipagpatuloy pa nila yung paghahangad, para gutom pa rin patungo sa susunod na Olimpiada?
Siguro, siyempre, yun yung gusto nila na gusto pa nila ituloy. Ko lang, tuloy-tuloy lang din. Huwag niyong isipin na may pera na kayo, huwag niyong isipin na mayaman na kayo. Isipin niyo na back to normal ulit, back to zero ka ulit, para yung porsige mo, yung pagkauhaw mo sa medalya na katulad na si Heidelin naka-gold na, huwag isipin niya Heidelin na naka-gold pa siya ulit para sa sunod niya na laban, uhaw pa rin siya, hanapin niya pa rin yung gold ulit na inasam-asam natin ulit. Para tuloy-tuloy yung pag-gold natin sa Olympics. Yun na po, yun lang din ang ko din sa kanila na
maganda.
Lang din. Tuloy-tuloy lang training. Pinaka-importante yung disiplina talaga din. Yun po.
Alright. Well, Onyok, bago kita bitawan, alam ko na ikaw ngayon ay nagpapatakbo ng isang boxing gym. Totoo ba yun? At para sa mga grassroots, para sa mga kabataan, yan bang mong pinagkakabalan?
Yan po, nasa Philippine Sports Commission po. Consultant monitoring po ako doon. Okay. Yun po ang trabaho po namin na mag-develop po ng mga grassroots mo, mga kabataan. Hindi lang po sa boxing po, lahat po ng klaseng sports po. Yun po yung namunuan po ni chairman po namin na si Chairman Ramirez,
Ganda.
saka yung director namin po na si Mark Velasco. Yun po yung program po na doon kami po nalinya din. Dahil same time, consultant din po ako dun sa boxing.
Well, maganda nakikita ng mga kabataan na nandyan yung isang hinahangaan nila, isang iniidolo na si Onyok Velasco na patuloy na gumagabay sa ating lahat pagdating sa boxing at sa ibang larangan ng palakasan. Onyok, maraming salamat sa panahong ibinigay mo sa amin ngayong umaga. Ha? At sana ay huwag kang magsasawa na tayong lahat ay magdalangin na patuloy na ating makuha sana ang elusive na gold medal para sa ating bansa. Maraming salamat, Onyok. Ha?
Thank you, sir. Thank you po.
Mga kaibigan, ang ating pinagmamalaking Olympic silver medalist ng 1996 Atlanta Games, walang iba kundi si Mansueto Onyok Velasco. Napakaganda ng kanyang kwento. Well, again, sana nga hindi masilaw sa karanyaan, sa tagumpay ang mga atleta natin at patuloy na magpursige na magbigay ng karangalan sa ating bansa. At yung mga kabataan naman ay sana ay mabigyan ng magandang ehemplo ng pinagdaanan ni Mansueto Onyok Velasco. Alright, mga kapatid, tuloy-tuloy po tayo sa ating palatuntunang Power and Play. Again, dun po sa mga nag-aabang ng ating pulso mamaya po. After this, tingnan natin kung may oras tayo para basahin ang inyong mga opinion tungkol sa ating pinupulsuhan ngayong araw pong ito. Kung dapat ba ang weightlifting at ang boxing ay isama na rin sa programa ng mga collegiate leagues katulad ng UAAP at ng NCAA. At this point, ipapasok ko na po ang aking panayam sa ama ng ating Olympic pole vaulter na si EJ Obiena. Walang iba kundi ang dating national athlete na si Coach Emerson Obiena. And ngayon po kasama natin isang tao na tunay na may kilala sa ating Olympian pole vaulter na si EJ Obiena. Walang iba kundi ang kanyang ama, si Coach Emerson Obiena. Magandang araw sa iyo, Coach Emer.
Magandang araw po sa inyo lahat.
Congratulations, Coach Emer, sa napakagandang ipinakita ng iyong anak na si EJ. Alam natin na hindi yun ang gusto nating resulta, but still nakaka-proud ang nagawa niya dahil siya ang kaisa-isang Asyano na nakapasok sa finals. Bago natin pag-usapan ang kanyang naging performance, Coach Emer, ano ba, ang pakiramdam mo ngayon na tapos na ang Olimpiada, na napunutan ka na ba ng tinik, nakahinga na ba ng konti at natatapos na ang pressure ng panunood sa iyong anak?
Opo, medyo naka-relax na po ng konti. Pero ang nakikita ko lang po, after this Olympic, ay yung susunod po na mga laro niya. Meron po, tapusin po kasi niya yung season niya hanggang September po meron po siyang laro.
Ano yan, Coach? Bigyan mo nga kami ng idea. Yan talaga sinusundan mo, tinututukan mo yan sa bawat laban ni EJ na andun ka at nagmo-monitor ka pa yan?
Dahil po sa location, medyo mahirap po talaga na tutok. Pero kapag may laro po siya, usually po, madaling araw po sa atin yan. So, ang ginagawa ko, yung araw na yon, talagang gising ako at pinapanood ko yung live niya at tinitingnan ko yung competition niya.
Alam niyo po mga kapatid, si Coach Emer is a national athlete ng ating bansa. Ang bronze sa Southeast Asian Games, si Coach Emer sa pole vault at definitely one of the people na nagbigay ng karangalan sa ating bayan as well. And let me just put this in perspective para dun sa mga hindi nakakaalam, Coach Emer. Ikaw ang nag-introduce sa anak mong si EJ sa pole vaulting. Tama ba? Hanggang kailan mo ba siya hinubog para maging pole vaulter, Coach Emer?
Yun nga po, dahil ako po ay dati ring atleta at isa po sa paborito kong event ay yung pole vault sa national team. Madalas po niya ako nakikita na tumatalon. So, dahil yun nga, bagong pamilya lang, yung bata ay hindi pa naman talaga namin pwedeng iwanan sa bahay. Isa lang yung kasambahay namin. So, kasama ko siya doon sa training ko. And lumaki siya ng ganun. So hanggang mag 18 years old, nung nag 5 meters siya nakakuha siya ng scholarship sa IAAF. So hanggang po doon mag 5 meters na.
Ikaw ang naging coach. Alright.
Opo.
Alam niyo po ang kagandahan ng pagiging dating atleta ay alam natin na ramdam ni Coach Emer yung dusa at paghihirap ng kapwa-atleta. At kaya naman siya ay dinala niya ang kanyang anak sa pagiging pole vaulter, atleta. Coach, ano ba nakita mo kay EJ? Kaya mo naisip na siguro pwedeng gawing atleta itong batang ito?
Hindi ko po agad kasi nakita yung katangian niya doon na magiging isa siyang magaling na pole vaulter. Hindi agad-agad eh. Nagsimula kasi siya sa pagiging hurdler and more of like enjoyment yung dahilan kung bakit nandoon sila. Gusto nila yung event ng hurdles, gusto nila yung karera, yung sprinting. So sa eskwelahan nila meron kasing track and field team. So nagtuturo din yung nanay niya doon sa eskwelahan na yun. So nandoon sila nagsimula. And medyo late po yung kanyang physical development, lalo nang dumating yung time na nasa may pre-puberty sila. Napag-iiwanan po siya ng mga kasing idaran niya na naunang humugot kaysa sa kanya. So, so hindi po para po sa edad niya, yung mga kasabayan niya kasing edad niya, mga lamang po siguro ng mga 3 inches. Mas malalaki na po sila agad, mas parang medyo naunang mag-develop. So, hindi siya ganun kalakas. And even nung time na mag 18 years old siya, hindi rin siya ganun pakalakas. So, na-realize ko lang po yung katangian na yon, hindi po talaga actually doon sa lakas, kundi doon sa kakayahan niyang intindihin yung skill o yung technique na kailangan. So, hindi siya ganun kalakas. Pero tingin ko dahil sa hindi siya ganun kalakas, dahil alam niya hindi siya ganun kalakas, kailangan niya maging efficient pagdating do sa skill. Kasi kung hindi niya pagbubutihin yon, hindi niya magagawa ng maayos yung dapat niyang gawin. So, because of that, alam niya yung weaknesses niya, nag-focus, mas napapansin ko yung focus niya talaga pagdating do sa skill acquisition. And yun. So, habang lumalaki siya, pagdating niya ng mga 16, humugot, tumangkad, lumagpas na sa akin. Tapos, yun, ang bilis po ng mga improvement. Almost every year, like 40 to 50 centimeter ang increase ng talon niya. Ganun po kabilis. Boom, boom, boom. Kasi bigla siyang humugot. And then at the same time, yung skill niya, dahil medyo na-improve na, so nag-complement po ngayon yun, yung dahan-dahan na paglaki niya at paglakas ng katawan niya. So doon ko po na-realize na, maaga itong batang to para sa edad niya. Maaga siyang tumalon ng 5 meter at the age of 18. So, iba nga, 20 years old na, hindi pa makatalo ng 5.
Correct.
Ganun po.
Ayun, of course, nakita natin ang korte ng katawan ni EJ, mahaba, na lean. So, maganda talaga, hindi siya mabigat at maayos ang kanyang yung body type, higa nga. Did that factor in, Coach, sa yung nakita mo sa kanya na magiging world-class pole vaulter ito si EJ?
Well, I think kasi ang mga pole vaulters, they comes in many size and shape. Iba-iba. Merong maliit na pero sobrang bilis. Meron mang matangkad na katamtaman yung bilis. So may kanya-kanya silang kakayahan na para tumalo ng mataas din. With EJ,
si Mondo Duplantis, maliit lang yun, ano? Maliit lang siya pero
I think 6-footer lang yata yun o 6'1", ganun. So, but then the former record holder, Lavileni, he's only 5'9" or 5'10".
Wow.
And he can jump 6 meters. So, pero he can run like 10'3", I think.
Okay, mabilis ang momentum, no? Parang ganun.
Opo. So, kulang ka sa height, you make it up with your speed.
Coach, ikaw nag-coach ka kay EJ, hinubog mo nga siya when he was younger, ikaw ang naging unang tagapagturo niya, principal coach, principal mentor ng batang EJ Obiena. Gaano kaiba yung coaching mo nung araw sa ngayon ay nakuha niyang coaching in the international arena with Coach Vitaly Petrov at yung iba't iba pa niyang coaches?
In my case, nung nagko-coach ako, actually, mas marami doon hinugot ko sa experience ko. Pero alam ko na yung experience ko may kakulangan. Kaya nga, naano ko kasi late ko na na-realize nung medyo may edad na ako, saka ako nag-improve. And base doon sa mga nakausap kong coaches, yung speed ko, yung kakayahan ko, hindi lang dapat pang 495, dapat mga 520. So, nung nagtuturo kay EJ, it's more of like, kung ano yung experience ko, so, hindi siya yung direct, meron pang mas, alam ko, mas mabilis na paraan para maturuan ko siya ng time na yun. Pero dahil limited ako doon sa kaalaman ng time na yun, medyo nagtagal. Pero, I see to it na ang direksyon na gusto kong puntahan ay yung direksyon na papunta doon sa method ni Vitaly Petrov. So, I was buying books, I was buying CD videos ng tungkol sa mga atleta at yung training nila. So from there medyo nangangapa ako, pero yung dahan-dahan ko nabuo yung training method ko. Although it's not as exactly as Vitaly Petrov's method, I'm trying to follow that principle. So I think yung intention ko na yun ang sundan na method, nakatulong yon. Although hindi siya ganun ka ano.
Well, of course.
Para masundan niya yung yeah. And from there, yung sa experience ko nung sumama ako sa Italy, doon ko na-realize yung mga ganun pala, ganyan pala, kaya pala, ganun, yun. Then, yung daan ko na liko-liko papunta sa isang direksyon, naging mas mabilis.
Well, of course, iba-ibang panahon nga yan. Of course, naging scientifico ang training, mas magaganda ang equipment. And of course, may mga tools na ngayon na tumutulong para sa ating mga atleta, including video at kung ano, iba-iba pa. And based on that, Coach Emer, no, pamula nung hinawakan mo siya hanggang sa ngayon, lumaban siya sa Olimpiada, ano sa tingin mo pinakamalaking naging improvement sa kanyang technique at style?
Nakita ko yung kanyang paraan ng pagtakbo, mas naging reactive yung kanyang paa, and nakita ko yung improvement niya when it comes to speed, and of course yung general strength sa specific strength niya, lahat nagtaasan yun. Yung tungkol doon sa inintroduce na technique ni Vitaly, may mga improvements din ako nakita. Actually, kasi iba talaga yung pag nabasa mo lang o nakita mo sa video compared doon sa ikaw mismo yung nakaramdam, pinagawa sa'yo at pinalalayan ka mismo nung author nung method na yon.
Let me go to the competition, Coach Emer. No? Before the competition, before yung finals ng Olimpiada, ano ang mga concerns na napag-usapan niyo ni EJ? Was there anything na medyo kwidaw kayo or medyo nakakabagabag kay EJ nung panahon na yon?
Actually, yung setup po nung competition na yun, kasi simultaneous po na nangyayari yung competition. Mm-hmm. So yung mga marks na kailangan naming makita, medyo maraming may obstruction kasi hindi mo maiwasan na may maglalakad, sabay silang tumatalon, may officials na lalakad, tapos may cameraman na magkukuha ng picture doon malapit sa tinatakbuhan. So sometimes nakakalagpas po yung mga information o mga feedback na yun na kakailanganin niya. So I think yun po yung time na nagwa-warm up siya, and ganun po yung setup na nangyayari. Medyo nangapa po siya doon sa simula, pero yung nga po, nung bandang huli ay nakuha rin naman po niya.
Alright.
So, buti na lang at nahabol namin.
Nahabol pa. Ilang beses niya, of course, na sinubukan malundagan yung 5.8 meters na alam natin ay well within his personal best. At sabi nga ng marami, kadalasan naman nilulundag niya yan sa kanyang naging pagtitraining at competition sa Europe. Coach Emer, I mean, ikaw, alam ko, bilang ama, you have your own thoughts, but as a coach, technically, saan nagkamali si EJ dun sa kanyang mga attempts sa 5.80 meters?
Hindi po natin masabi, ma-pinpoint exactly kung saan po yung pagkakamali nun eh. Unang-una, yung hangin doon, hindi siya constant na isang direksyon. Nung simula, hindi pa masyadong magulo yung hangin. Then habang tumatagal yung laro, medyo nagkakaroon po ng pagbabago sa hangin. May mga bugso-bugso na ano. And yung hangin na po yun, lalo pag sumalubong sa atleta, meron po talagang effect yun doon sa speed niya. So, kasi doon sa tinitingnan ko mga kalaban din niya, doon sa mga nasa itaas, no? Yung mga kalaban niya, ilang beses na po tumalo ng 580, 590. Meron pa mga 6-meter jumper. So, when it comes to like being consistent on a certain height, yung consistency nila, mas mataas na height, consistent sila. And comparing with EJ, who's just recently became consistent with 580, mabibilang mo sa kamay, hindi pa abot ng 10 beses na tumalo siya ng 580. So by statistics o by probability, siyempre mas lamang po tayo.
Alright mga kaibigan, yan po ang parte ng panayam natin kay Coach Emerson Obiena, ang ama ni EJ Obiena. Susubukan po natin na dahil naubusan tayo ng oras na ibalik po ang yung second part ng kanyang interview sa susunod na linggo. Alright, doon po sa mga nagpadala ng kanilang opinion sa ating pinupulsuhan kung dapat na bang isama ang weightlifting at boxing sa mga liga ng collegiate division. Babasahin natin ang ilan kasi maubusan tayo ng oras dito. Mula kay Sensui, sabi niya, every sport should have an inter-school event. Siguro ang ibig sabihin dapat isama na. No? Mula naman kay Mark Suba, sabi niya, yes, para mag-scout mga universities na mga magagaling at mga may potential para more chances of competing and winning at the Olympics. From Mark Alday, sabi niya, so yes, so there's continuity from the grassroots level and before the national athlete status. Only problem is weightlifting might be banned in Paris in 2024. Sana ay wag naman, no? Dahil yan ang ating pinagkuhanan ng last 2 medals natin, sa Rio at saka sa Tokyo. Sana naman tuloy-tuloy tayo sa Paris. Alright mga kaibigan, marami po salamat sa lahat ng mga nanood sa atin at of course nagbigay ng kanilang kuro-kuro. Marami po salamat sa ating mga panauhin ngayong araw na ito. Di paano? Tapos na naman tayo. Mag-ingat po tayo at parami pa rin ang kaso ng COVID-19. Maghugas, mag-social distancing, laging may mask at wag muna po tayong lalabas kung hindi naman kailangan. At lagi natin sinasabi tuwing Sabado ng umaga, bawal ang masungit. At sa lahat po ng ating gawain, ad maiorem Dei gloriam, all for the greater glory of God. Kami po ang 1PH, teleserbisyo para sa Pilipino. Susunod na po ang inay ko po. At ito po ang Power and Play. More power, more play. Happy Sports Weekend, mga kapatid. That's
Welcome to the Gigalife. Your passions, your stories, your life, simplified with just one app. This is the future. The Gigalife in just one tap. Experience more Giga moments when you make the smart choice. With the Philippines' fastest mobile data network. How do I know it's the one? Simple, smart ako.